It's stupid, careless fiction or nonsensical verboseness as we continue to discuss the machine learning part of data science. Do I need all those words this time? No, this time all you need is the machine learning part of it. When it comes to the machine learning part of this, what we do is we start with a data set. That data set gets set up into first, second, and third groups. You can create more than 3 partitions, but for the sake of argument, we're just going to stick with this for now. And you can use different things that randomly generate which pieces of data get split up into which part of the process. The first phase of machine learning is you're going to take that first data set and you're going to use that to determine how you're going to set up the algorithm and the logic to do what you're going to do with the data. Once you feel pretty confident with that first part, you then move into the second phase with your second set of data, or you can have more than one set of data with this. This is kind of the actual machine learning part of it. The second phase is where you're fine-tuning the algorithm and logic you came up with from the first data set, and you can have more than one partition here. Again, this is just sort of the second phase of the process. Let's say when you created your initial logic, you only needed to determine if something was a cat video or not a cat video. But then you get to the second set of logic and you realize, I also need to account for whether or not it is a video with dogs or a video with bunnies. This is the phase where you would adjust for that. So if you have more than one data set within this section, you would use one data set to work with the adjustments you made and then move on to like a second one, but you're still in this phase. Once you feel that you have refined the equation, logic, or algorithm that you're working with, you then move into the third step. This is basically where you put what you've created into production. Let's say it goes into production and there's a completely different thing that you didn't think of. So you may have to go back to the second phase and test it all again before we go back into the third. This is why you want to make sure you have a large data set to work with so that when you're creating the logic and everything for this, you're accounting for as many things as you possibly can. Obviously, you may miss a thing or two, but you can at least get a good chunk of it. AI is not magic. Bad data in is bad data out. So how is this used for nefarious purposes? Well, random citizen, they can adjust the logic, equation, or algorithm to put out certain things more so than others. On one hand, you can use this to adjust and put less violent content out. On the other hand, you can also adjust it and say, you know, if there's a particular message or something mentioned, we're just going to suppress that and make sure that it shows up a heck of a lot less. Another example would be, say that you're an overly emotional billionaire and you just don't think Grok is being hateful enough, so you might go in and change the logic to be something completely different. Remember, AI is not a human that can look at a particular phrase or sentence and identify if there are, certain undertones or messages that they shouldn't have unless it is programmed that way. Computers are basically rocks with electricity. They're only going to do what you program them to do. Okay, so what about things like ChatGPT? You know what? I'll put it in the next one.